Well, good afternoon my YouTube friends, it's Margaret again from Emmy's Orchids, and what are we looking at here? This is a little white phalaenopsis, and look at the little tiny blooms. And if we look at the back, can you see how the back is pink there? Anyway, so let's have a look how many spikes we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 main spikes, and we've got quite a few branching. So I thought this was quite good value, and it's a Mother's Day gift. So and it's come from it's got a plant passport on it, and it's come from, whether you'll see that, Optifloor. And I had a friend who picked it up last week from a garden centre. So let's just take this out, and there, that's where it came from. And let's just have a look. I asked her not to water it or do anything with it, simply because, of course, I didn't want to have it be wet through. Now just hold on while I bring you down a fraction, and then we can see what you're going to let's have a look. There we go. So let's just, I've got a jug of water, but let's just see what these roots are like. And then, now, have I got you near enough? Hold on. There we go. That's probably better. I've got a couple of dead roots coming through the bottom here. I've got a spare pot here, so a nice root system, but I think it's been potted on, because look, there's sphagnum moss there, and there might be a moss plug in this. But look, actually some of the bark, what it's been potted up with, feels quite strong. Oh yes, we've got a moss plug there. Can you see the moss plug? There. Right, so what I'm going to have to do now is soak it, so I can get this bark off. And then let me just see if I can just squeeze it, because this bark's still a little bit damp, and if it's damp like this, that means I can rather than have it too wet. So this bark's still this damp, and yet it's not been watered for a week, so it just shows you. But some of these, if I can get the moss plug out, I could actually leave some of the older bark in. Right, just hold on. suppose the inclination is to put all fresh bark in, but I'm always a little bit wary these days of upsetting the orchid too much. I hope you see what I'm seeing. Actually, when my friend called today with this, she'd bought one. You remember my pink one that I got from Marks and Spencer? Well, she'd been to IKEA and she'd got one for £5. Looked to be virtually the same. And she didn't know about this moss plug here. There we go, you see. And she didn't know about it at all. So I explained, and I said to her, this is so constraining, this piece of plastic. You see, because what happens, of course, is that, and you see how the roots, I've just knocked a leaf off now, and a little flower, how the roots try to come through it. So, right, let's see if I can get this off now without damaging anything else. I mean, it should come off, but you've still got to be very careful. I mean, so this has been grown from a seedling, and under the factory conditions, of course, the nursery conditions, and it's produced all these spikes. So it's a lovely orchid, but I need to get this piece of plastic out. Once I've got that out, I should be happy. Oh dear. Because what this does, what this piece of plastic does, is cuts. See, can you see that root there, where my thumb is? It cuts through the root. And so already you see that little bit of a root there is damaged. Now whether it's damaged because I've had to try and get it out, I've no idea, but it's definitely cut through that bit of root. Oh dear, what a shame. Let's see if I can manoeuvre this here now. Actual fact, it's cutting through two roots. One, two. There we are. So at least it's not got that constraint on it now, but it has cut through the root. Can you see that root there? Oh dear, but never mind. And I've knocked one of the leaves off. So let's see if we can just pull this back now and remove this moss peat or peat moss plug. There we go. So I've got some water here, which I'm going to just place it in now. I mean, some would say, well, just spray it with hydrogen peroxide first. But have you noticed I don't usually like to spray with hydrogen peroxide because it'll kill off all that's good. I really don't want that to happen. Right. Okay, hold on. So while it's just soaking for a minute, yes, this one definitely came from the Netherlands. And there, see, NL. There's its plant passport, and it's supposed to be a wild phalaenopsis. And it's the history of Hendricks family nursery extends back almost 100 years. So anyway, so that was the pot it came out of. Got quite a few of these pots I have, and I'm hoping to put it in this slightly bigger pot because of the extent of the roots. And I've also already got some lava rock here, some hydrogen balls, and a little bit of pumice, and looks to be a little bit of garden stones. So there we are. Now let's just have a look again how this little plant is. Right. And you see how it's greened up nicely? And you see that one? And it's damaged there, and it's just damaged on the tip. Does that piece of bark feel? Yeah, it feels quite firm. So what I don't want to do, now this one, that one looks to be damaged there, so I'm going to just nip that one off. There we go. You see, these are white in the middle, of course, because they've been inside that peat moss plug. Let's turn it over this way. And you see, I'm not going to attempt to take this old bark off. And then, right, so I'm just going to nip this one off. Just the end of it. And let's see if we can get it potted up. Right. I just need to bring you up a minute now, so hold on. Okay, so I'm showing you now how it's going to be sitting in this pot. Can you see? And I've got that inorganic media at the bottom, and I'm just going to gently backfill and fill around this area. Hopefully not disturbing it too much. What I might do, not at this moment in time, but at the weekend I may just run some water through this bark, because this is the orchid bark, and it does actually take a little while to stay hydrated. And I'm putting large bark in here. Some think it's medium. Sometimes, you know, I do think that they actually mix it. just find a stake. Hold on. Can you see now those roots? But there's gaps, and this is quite a hard pot to squeeze to make that bark go down. Look at the air holes there. So it's going to have to be a case of hold the stems and try and gently manoeuvre some of this bark down. This is the actual stake I'm wanting to use, but I don't want it to. There we go, I don't want it to damage the roots. There we go. Let's see if I can gently. This is the worst bit, of course. So what I'm using now is this long-handled spoon, just to try and push some of this bark a little bit lower. And then let me see. So there's actually no gaps. There's a gap down there. Can you see that gap down there? So let's see if I can just gently either squeeze to try and manoeuvre some of this bark down. Now by manoeuvring the bark down into the pot, can you see how the orchid's unstable again? Look, can you see how it's unstable? So let me bring you up. So I'm holding the actual orchid and in the middle to get it more centralised, and I'm filling it up with extra bark, and then I need to get some more as well. Just found a piece of charcoal, so I'm going to pop that in. I've got a new leaf coming, and let's just see, where's that what I'm trying to do is see if I can manoeuvre this. I'm just wondering whether I could actually put it through here so it goes through. Let's just see. No, it's not quite big enough. So I'll have to come down this way, this stake. Now I've filled it up more. Doesn't look as I'm going to get it in as easily. So let me see down there. Can you see how it's still leaning? So I'm going to try my hardest to get as much bark as I can down in the middle. Because I need this, I don't want it to be wobbling about. So there we go, see. Right. Okay. That's not gone. Has that gone right down to the bottom? Excuse me, just going off camera. I think that's gone right down to the bottom. Hold on. See a little bit of wire. Just let me wire it and I'll be back. It's taken me longer than I thought. What I've tried to do, I'll show you in a second, is try to, I've used this stake here and I'm trying to bring it through one of the holes, up through here, like that, and then I want to bring it through this hole here, and so if you'll just wait a minute. Right, so there it is, and that was the only damage, that one and that little flower there. But look, can you see? I still think it's a little bit loose. So I'm going to go outside now and find a stone that I can just drop in there. Right, I managed to find a stone just to wedge just under here, just to give it a little bit of stability. I do believe we might have a bud blast here. We might have a bud blast there. I'm not too sure. They look a little bit limp. But anyway, they may well open. And I do like this little bloom. Look at that little tiny bloom. There we go. I mean, they're so delicate compared to the big white phalaenopsis. I can't detect any fragrance at all. But now it's in its pot and it's got orchid bark. We've got a new leaf coming there, and I do believe that this will now be quite happy for hopefully about 3 years. So from me to you, thank you for joining me. It's only a phalaenopsis repot, but it's a lovely phalaenopsis to add to my collection. From me to you then, take care. Bye bye now.